Hey everybody, it's Mr. Judge. We're back again on another live stream. This time I'm doing. This time we're going to be reacting to YouTuber and supposed psychic medium John Edward. And in preparation of actually reacting to his video, I'm actually going to show you guys what my PDF documents revealed about his character, how you can tell he's a scammer, and how his supposed psychiatric crap is all a bunch of hogwash. And yes, he does actually have a following, sort of like a cult following called the Evolved, I believe they're called, and they pay for his membership fees. It's all a bunch of scammy hooey. But this is what we'll start off with. So basically, who is John Edward? John Edward is an American self-proclaimed psychiatric medium who gained immense popularity. Basically, for making mediumship, popular, especially on modern television. So he's the reason why we have a bunch of people claiming, "Ooh, I'm psychic. I can hear the dead. I can communicate with the dead," and all that hogwash. So basically, he didn't really believe it himself until he was 15, as you can read in my document. But he basically got convinced that it was of his own abilities after having a quote unquote reading with a woman in New Jersey. And he became famous because he released a book apparently in 1998 for one last time, and then he appeared on Larry King Live. Larry King Live, which got a lot of people interested in him, and it showed that he had a lot of appeal to a modern audience. And then he had a successful television show called Crossing Over with John Edward from 2000 to 2004. And, that's basically what he's known today. And according to this document, he's still going around proclaiming he can talk to dead people and have all these psychic mediums and doing these Q&As, etc. But here's how you can kind of know that he's a scammer, because my second document that my AI generated revealed that a guy named James Randi, who was very skeptical of the man, basically went over to analyzed a 2-hour tape of John's readings, and he actually found that out of 23 statements that was made during that session, only 3 of them were correct. So that means, even if you look at it mathematically, he's not really a psychic. He's just doing a lot of what was the he's just doing a lot of guessing, basically. And basically, as you can tell by the statistics of this document, he got him a lot of his predictions were actually wrong. um, and he also failed to accurately predict December 11th. And here's the thing: he also attempted to film a special episode communicating with the victims of 9/11, which did not go over well. And then he also failed to foresee a 1,500,000 lawsuit filed against him in 2012, um, which got him mocked. And then when it came to, obviously why his stuff failed, his excuses were, oh, psychiatric amnesia, claiming literally the victims were the reason that he got. Literally, that the reason why it failed was his victims. The victims were forgetting their own history. Like, he calls them clients, but in reality, they were victims because he was manipulating them. And they failed to. He was claiming that it wasn't that his readings were wrong; it's that his own clients were, you know, misremembering their own history, which is unbelievably narcissistic. And then he claimed it was spirits that were also doing it, as well as trickster energy, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean, and symbiotic misrepresentation. So he that was one. That's how you know this dude is a fraud. And then when I did an investigation to see if there were any like scams or controversies. And here's the thing to understand about how he did manipulation with his television and how he's guilty of psychological manipulation. One was the cold reading techniques, because basically he was using a psychological technique that, was, you can already guess, had high probability guessing. So, it meant that means that basically he was using high probability in order to psychologically read his audience so that he could probably get what was the most accurate guess, which is why you saw in the previous document, it showed that more often than times he'd be wrong, only getting like 3 out of like 40 questions right. So, and then he would also been accused of hot reading. Basically, they were even required to fill out questionnaires before they got on the show, which would obviously be used by him in order to, to get him to, it would be used by him to, basically get information and act like he knew about it. And he would also be, deceptive in his television editing. And he also got targeted for it because he was famously labeled in a 2002 episode in South Park, the biggest douche in the universe. Now, really think about how badly you have to really be and get called out as a fraud to, Miss Independent, and really get called out as a fraud, to literally be put on South Park, literally titled "The Universe's Biggest Douche." That's how bad of a fraud John, what was his name again? John Edwards really is as a supposed psychic, and you're gonna laugh when you see how he does in his quote unquote Q&A, which we'll read now. I just wanted to read you guys the documents to see that what I'm saying is not based on conjecture. It was actually researched through my AI. Alrighty, getting back on the stage. Oh, what? It's now telling me remove other medias. Okay, I guess it's not wanting to. I don't know what's going on here. I guess it's not wanting this stuff to be here. Hold on 1 second. So we can get to the video. Yes, they are, Miss Independent. Yes, they are. Alrighty, so we'll get back into the video. Well, starting the video, I should say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my July 6th. Let's try to do a first-time YouTube live while Mercury's retrograde, because why not? And hello to TikTok. I have two things happening simultaneously. So I'm live on TikTok, and I'm also live on YouTube. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up in the comments if you guys can hear me. Okay.
I mean, dude, just get on with the show. I understand you want to make sure people can hear you, but I mean, you should have all that done before you even start a video. Before you've even started the video, you should make sure that you have all your equipment set up right.
Okay, so on TikTok, you guys can hear me. Yes, you guys can hear me as well. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I would like you guys to give me 3 emojis to describe your current energy, like how you're feeling. Just give me three emojis. Thanks.
Our current energy. So he wastes a good 30 seconds starting his video asking if people can understand, and now he's asking about their energy. Like, what does that have to do with the Q&A, John? Just literally start the show already.
Sandra in Connecticut, I appreciate that. Okay, and what this does, it gives me the opportunity to know energies that I'm attracting tonight. Who's here? Okay, we have a good mix. Okay, so YouTube, just for the TikTok audience, the YouTube folks seem to be a little bit crazy, if I could say that, but in a good way. I'm digging the vibe. So YouTube, you guys, I'm liking it. Okay.
Like, did you not have anything prepared? You're wasting valuable time, John.
A little sadder here on TikTok. So it's just really interesting because I have a theory about energy after 41 years of doing this, is that we will pull in on the same night similar themes and energies. So if I was doing a double mediumship group, you would see the same energies coming in, even though the telephones, the mediums, are doing the same exact work.
What the literal? Do you think that human beings are fucking freaking cell phones, dude? What do you mean about your theory about energy? And you base this purely on what you're witnessing, some YouTube being more active and TikTok being sadder, and that's your theory about quote unquote energy? That everybody's, oh my God.
I just saw somebody said, so sad that Portugal lost, which means right now my wife is sad that Portugal lost. I didn't know that. She asked me last night if they were going to win, and I said, yes. Clearly, I can't do sports.
You can't do anything because you're a fraud.
Okay. I'm just laughing. All right. So this is where I want to get into some of your questions. This is my first Q&A here, so I want to get into some questions. Hey, Jenny Christine. Funny to meet you here. I'm going to take back and forth.
Even his own audience is not taking him seriously. Like, they're just flooding him with emojis. They're not even taking it seriously.
Questions. So if you guys have them, whichever one pops in. Hello from Perth. And let me just get some of the automatic questions out of the way. Some of you guys are going to want to know if I'm going to be in your area, if I'm going to be doing events in your area. If you just go to johnedward.net, all the events are listed there.
Oh, and look, now he's talking about, the events that I'm going to go to. Go to my website, .com, So this is what I mean by classic scammer. You know, he's setting up his little cult. He's setting up, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there. And all the while, this is supposed to be a Q&A. So he should have been, have some questions that maybe he got from other people, or, answering some predetermined questions, or even looking at his chat to determine what he wants to, answer. But instead, he's focusing on promoting his brand. And that's the thing. This psychic medium, as he calls himself, is just promoting a brand, which is himself and his powers, which is the typical act of a scammer.
I'm going to be in upstate New York and New England, and then Australia at the end of the year. You guys are going to ask, if you don't see your city in Australia, new cities are being added. So that's going to be happening. I'll be in London for the first time in years in September. So I'm looking forward to heading back across the pond. Okay, so first and foremost, can I pop your question up here? No.
You're going to do a Q&A and you don't know how to pop up questions? Oh, my God. Oh, man. Hey, let's do a Q&A. I can't see any of your questions, but we'll do a Q&A. Perfect logic.
Okay. I'm just learning. Okay. So you guys are going to ask questions. So the first things I want to do is I want you guys to ask questions about the subject matter, not personal questions. And this is where I put a disclaimer. If you guys are on social media and you are revealing personal details about your families, your tragedies, and your losses, I will thank you in advance for trusting me to do that. But please be careful, because there are people all over and across social media. And what they're going to do is they're going to target you after, and they're going to say they have a message for you. And
this is funny because he actually got paid over a decade ago literally doing that. He literally, as I showed in the video, and I showed in my evidence, he literally had whole sessions where he would have his clients fill out questionnaires, giving up family details, and then he would be making supposed quote unquote predictions or messages about his family on his TV shows and the event and the sessions that he was doing. And now he's telling everyone, oh, but hey, just be careful, because there's people who would use that against you. You would know, John. You would know.
Places, specifically, I could say on TikTok, There are over 200 cloned accounts of
Hey,
my
Jessica.
actual main account where they copy my videos, they copy my photos. So when you get a response, it looks like I'm actually responding to you. I'm never going to DM you. I'm not going to DM you with a message. It's not going to happen. So please, please, please block those people, report them. And then if I'm feeling something here, I will tell you guys psychically if I'm feeling it. At 9 p.m.
Psychically, which means it's a feeling only that you could know. So you could think of a very clever lie and then say, well, it's not me saying it, it's the spirits from beyond saying it. You guys see the manipulation here?
You can see this already on TikTok because there's a banner behind
Hey,
me.
Rosetta.
But I'll let you guys know at 9 p.m. on YouTube, I'm heading over to Evolve Plus, and I have an hour live. I do a monthly live there, and that is going to be reading intensive. So if you want to join that, if you look in the comments, it'll say,
Sir, you have been wasting 4 minutes of your supposed Q&A not answering any questions, and you're literally just promoting your brand. Oh, I'm going to be here this month. Oh, I'm going to be here next month. If you guys are wanting me to do a reading, please don't tell me too much about your family. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. Sir, it's a Q&A. Look up some questions and then answer them. You're doing nothing but promoting yourself.
evolveplus.tv. If you go there and use the code New Moon, you'll get the entire year for $99. Normally it's like $20 a month, so it's like 200 and something a year. But if you use the code New Moon, you can join there at 9 p.m.
Facts, Miss Independent, facts. It's like he's doing everything he can to promote himself. Classic scammer. Now, I already provided the documents earlier in the video showing how he's a scammer anyway, but it's like, dude, if you don't want to risk being accused as a scammer, don't spend 4 minutes of a Q&A promoting yourself, talking about when I'm going to be here, what you need to do to get in contact with me, yada, yada, yada. You're doing anything but doing your job on a Q&A. International people that's been getting him, with him getting busted, and the whole line is to get them to make pretty much.
And I can pull you up and read for you. Good morning, Australia. So Orlando Ham on TikTok wants to know, would I ever consider retiring? No, I don't think so. I don't think mediums retire. I think I might stop or slow.
Well, yeah, because you can't retire because you don't even have a career. I mean, you somewhat had a career when you popularized the medium idea, and you did have a TV show, but that was again over a decade ago. And your response after you lost your show was to basically go out onto social media and constantly gather up loyal fans, which you call the Evolved. I think that's what the document called them, the Evolved, which are basically just people who pay you and your loyal followers. So you don't have a career because you lost your career, sir. And now you're just on the media trying to gather up suckers to join your loyal following, which is a paid membership. That's the reality.
Slow down in some capacity, but this is a calling. Like, this is, to me, like what my path and my passion is. So it's not like I'm working. I love doing what I do. So
he said it himself. It's not like I'm working. Did you guys hear that? It's not like I'm working. Somebody asked him, are you going to retire? I don't think I can retire because this is my passion. Mediums don't retire. It's not like I'm working. Oh, man. John, bro. You really need to think about what you say before you say it. Especially in this age with recording that. That was golden. You exposed yourself on that one, buddy.
I always had an image of me being in a nursing home, really, really old, like reading for the people that work there. This is as an aside. I will be going to Canada probably next year. And I'm looking to do Hawaii for the first time in a long time, probably.
This is the same thing with Umar. You know, this is probably where he learned his tactics. Oh, yes. I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be in France. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here next month, next year. maybe sometime after that. And it's like, what does that have anything to do with the Q&A or what you're currently supposed to be vlogging about? It's the same crap.
In January. So if anybody's in Hawaii here. So Kaz wants to know, will I write any more books with the FBI agent? So the FBI agent that you're talking about would be this guy, Bob Hilland.
And here he is promoting a freaking book again. Chasing Evil, okay.
The book's called Chasing Evil. And that details the 25 years of me assisting him on some of his cases. I saw some of your comments earlier about the book, so thank you so much for that. It was really.
What cases did you assist with? Did the dead identify their killer? You really think that's going to work in a court of law? In a court of law, he did it. Why? Because I hired this psychic medium named John, and the psychic medium spoke to the dead Mrs. Wilkinson, and she said Mr. Erickson did it. Yeah, that'll go very well in a court of law.
Really an amazing journey being able to write it. Thanks, Miss Virginia. I appreciate that. D-Dub, you missed me on TV. Oh, well, you got me live, so here I am. And if you miss me on TV, you definitely want to jump onto Evolve Plus because you get me there once a month live, every day interactive. And plus, there's other mediums. There's astrology. There's astrology podcast. There is a lot of stuff on Evolve Plus that is there to help empower and help you guys to evolve.
Yep, they are called the Evolve. So he's calling anybody who joins his subscription fees the Evolved, which really, if you're paying somebody a monthly fee of your hard-earned cash to give you a fake-ass reading and they get to live a life of never actually working, as Miss Independent said, it's called, what did Miss Independent say? She called it working hard not to work, right? Just as Miss Independent said that, that's exactly what they're paying this guy to do nothing. And he's happy to do it. And then you're telling us, oh, well, you can find me. Well, actually, no, let's bring up this important fact. Do you realize how much he's actually fallen from grace? He went from being popular to the early 2000s, getting his own TV show that lasted for 4 years, then getting exposed for doing nothing but guessing and manipulation to his audience, including asking questionnaires. And now he's reduced to going on YouTube and doing these Q&As and promoting his books and getting a loyal following of evolved people who literally just waste their money giving it to him for nothing. That's an incredible deep fall, my guy.
Hey, Kathy65, welcome. Who narrates the book? I narrate it and Bob narrates it. So it's kind of like being with us on the journey over the years of us doing this.
Exactly, Miss Independent. He's not retiring from anything. He literally said it's not like he works. He said it out of his own mouth. It's not like he works.
Megan Mind says, can anyone tap into themselves to connect with family members that have passed? I think the most important message.
So, Jessica, if you actually go at the beginning, the first 4 minutes of my live, I actually went into detail of who he was, and I covered the whole thing, showing the PDF documents my AI generated about him. And yes, he had a whole TV show. He had a book that he released in 1990. He also had a successful TV show from 2000 to 2004 called I forget, cross something with John what's his name? Yeah, John Edward. I'm so terrible with names, you guys. I just keep forgetting them. But basically, yeah, he did that. And then other people kind of like went out of their way to expose him. And one of the ways they showed it was how he mathematically got most of his guessing work wrong, how he psychologically used guesswork to cold and hot readings to psychologically manipulate his audience. And it's even crazier just that he literally made his people who came onto his show before they came out fill out questionnaires. So he was getting information about their families and their struggles before they even went on to his show. That's how crazy it is.
Message that I can give to someone is that nobody needs a meeting.
That's crazy, Miss Independent. That's absolutely crazy.
Nobody needs to have a reading. What we need is an understanding and an awareness of how to recognize energy and to be able to create a bridge and be 50%.
Wait,
of
hold
the
up.
equation.
Let's go back to what you just said.
Here I am. And if you miss me on TV, you definitely want to jump onto Evolve Club. There's other mediums. There's astrology. There's Evolve. Hey, Kathy65, welcome. Who narrates the book? I narrate it and Bob narrates it. So it's kind of like being with us on the journey over the years of us doing this. Megan Mind says, can anyone tap into themselves to connect with family members that have passed? I think the most important message that I can give to someone is that nobody needs a medium. Nobody needs to have a reading. What we need is an understanding.
Nobody needs a medium, but they need to pay you a monthly subscription to be part of the Evolved. Okay. Yeah, like you said, Miss Independent, run them donations. Was still in college the first time. Damn. Oh, damn. And then that's crazy, Miss Independent. And then here's the thing. Earlier, he's saying to everyone, I'll be in Baltimore. Well, no, he didn't say Baltimore, but I'll be in, Canada. I think he said England at some point or somewhere along there, maybe like London or whatever, doing all these tours, and he's promoting his book and everything like that. Then when he was asked if he'll retire, he says no, because it's his passion and he's not really working. And now he tells us we don't even need mediums. Well, if you don't even need mediums, then why did you build your entire career out of mediums? Why did you popularize it? Oh boy, you're telling on yourself now at this point.
Understanding and an awareness of how to recognize energy and to be able to create a bridge and be 50% of the equation. I often use the example that if death wasn't physical death in the way that we know it, but the person woke up the next day only speaking French, what would you do? You learn how to speak French. If somebody...
What? If death wasn't physical and didn't work and people just woke up one day speaking French, what would you do? What? That made absolutely no sense. But to answer your absurd, completely irrelevant question, I would get a translator.
Somebody lost their hearing, what would you do? You would learn sign language. So if somebody loses their physical body, what do? They still have their consciousness. The love is still there. You learn how to communicate in energy.
That's a lot of assumptions, sir. First, you're assuming that there's life after death, which hasn't been proven. You're also assuming that the afterlife works the way you think it works. And you're also assuming that energy works in the manner in which you're saying it does. There's a lot of conditions that would have to be met in order for this argument to be true. It's a fallacy.
And not to do readings. And there's a very, very fine line. Like people make a jump and a leap. Like they lose someone, this world opens up to them. They start recognizing symbols. And then they immediately think, I have to become a medium. No, you just have to become aware. To be a medium is to have a special calling. I don't think everybody should try to do readings. I think that takes a lot of years of practice and a lot of discipline. And there's a lot of ethics and responsibility that come into question.
Sir, you're going to lecture about ethics, but you're the one turning this into a business, admitting to your audience you don't work for your things, and you're telling them to just listen to you and to follow and become part of the Evolved. And before that, a decade ago, before the internet really became even a thing, you were literally having people fill out questionnaires in order for you to know what their situations were like before you even did your supposed psychotic medium session or whatever. You don't know what ethics are, sir.
Everybody can develop their intuition. Everybody can develop their abilities. And everybody should look at life through an energetic lens. I raised 2 kids that way to give them an edge. One's a doctor and one is going like strong in the world of acting, dancing, and singing. And they use it in both.
Doctors do not use psychic energy when doing their work. Doctors rely on science, critical thinking, and academic studying and applying the scientific method and a bunch of other stuff, because I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't pretend to have a large understanding of what they have to do on a regular day-to-day basis. But I do know that they're not relying on psychic mediums to communicate with dead people in their work, sir. That's not how it works. And you can believe in whatever you want to believe and be a scientist or a doctor at the same time, yes, but you can't apply both worlds at the same time. If you're a doctor and you believe in, for example, say God, okay, that's fine. But when you're making medical decisions, you can't rely on your Christian, Islamic, or psychic medium background. You have to take all of that aside and focus purely on what you know as a scientist or know as a doctor. So you're spouting nonsense, sir. Himself, basically. That's where he's getting it from, Rosetta himself.
So Jalapeno 4797 asks, can a person who passed help find lost keys? Technically, yes. Yes, they can. They absolutely.
Hey, Mark, I know you passed away 10 years ago, buddy, but I need my keys for this job interview. Can you help me out? Mark? Oh, damn, I guess I'm on my own.
Absolutely can. And that may come through like in a dream or in a very quick flash or download. So if you ever have that, pay attention to that.
Quick flash or download? What do you think spirits are? Memory cards? And first of all, the brain has the ability to remember, sir. Your brain can have sudden moments of realization, and hindsight is 20/20. I don't think spirits from beyond the grave need to flash my mind or upload me like a freaking memory card to let me know, hey, your keys were on the left counter.
Sarah Christic wants to know, do you instantly feel spirits jumping into lives like this? Sarah, I actually don't. So I kind of make the decision to, I have to block somebody. Hold on. I have to make.
Oh, so you have power to see the dead, but the dead can't enter the metaverse. Okay, that's an interesting limitation. They can help you find keys, but if you ask them to be your software technician, sorry, you're out of luck.
The decision to like go, okay, I'm gonna do this now. There are moments, few and far between. If I'm sick or if I'm really, really tired.
Rosetta, don't scare me with downloading. That's diabolical. That was a good one.
Tired, where it's harder for me to block out energy, but otherwise I let go. Okay, I'm gonna open up and then I'm gonna do this. But if I'm trying to do questions or I'm trying to educate, I try to kind of like focus on that.
So when you're doing psychiatric mediums, then you're not educating people. Got it.
So Deborah Carney is asking, she's stating, I miss my dad. I wish I could feel the spirit. So I want to do an exercise with you guys. And this is an exercise that I'll casually do at events or I've done with professionals, right? When I'm training someone. I want you to just kind of center yourself where you are. And if you're not driving, please just do this later. But if you're relaxed and you're in an area where you can, if you're around other people, go step into a different room. I want you to close your eyes. And I'm going to make...
Yeah, step into a different room, because what he's about to suggest to you, everyone's going to think you're nuts and and have you be sent to an insane asylum.
Make a statement, and I want you to feel the weight and truth of the statement. 2 + 2 is 4.
You cannot be serious. 2 + okay. Center yourself. Go into a room by yourself. And if you're driving, don't do this while you're driving. And feel the weight of this simple truth. 2 + 2 is 4. Okay. Oh. I'll grant you it's a truthful statement, all right? Not sure it has anything supernatural in it, but yeah, go ahead. That's a truthful statement.
2 + 2 is 4. The way that feels in your body right now is putting you in alignment with the reality that you know to be true. 2 + 2 is 4. Yes, that's your constant. That's your I know that 2 + 2 is 4. But now if I say 6 + 6 is 100, your brain's going to go, wait, no, it's not. So now you have a baseline of what that feels like. So I want you to trust in your gut.
What the literal hell is your what is your point, sir? The ma'am, I think it was at least I think it was a woman, said she missed her dad and wished she could feel his presence. Your response was to tell people, "Oh, center yourself. Think about the fact 2 + 2 is 4, and then if I tell you 6 plus whatever equals 100, which was wrong, then that's how you oh my god, how does that have anything to do with someone missing a loved one and wishing that they could feel their presence again? Now mind you, the cold-hearted atheist I would proud out say that there is no spirit, because I haven't seen any evidence of that. But even if I agreed that there was a spirit, how does math have anything to do with the supernatural? That is just, oh my God. Now we're back in school, exactly. And we're getting an F. Hey, we're back in school, Rosetta, and we're getting an F paid education.
When you're feeling something, like, you know what 2 + 2 is 4 feels like. That's a yes. It's a yes. But 6 + 6 is definitely not 100. So when you feel that, no, that's now putting you in touch with your feelings. You're becoming in alignment with.
I'm going to quote Ben Shapiro here. Facts don't care about your feelings. 2 + 2 is 4. 6 plus whatever to equal 100 is not. That has nothing to do with feelings, sir. It's basic empirical math.
What something feels like. So now you know what your dad feels like. You know what your person feels like.
This dude is nuts. I agree with you, Rosetta. I'm being completely honest with you. And everybody who came into the chat, thank you for showing up. And I'm just going to say, yes, I agree, because no sane person talks like this. I have never heard, in 28 years of life, I have never heard somebody respond to someone feeling sad about a loved one and being told that 2 + 2 equaling 4 being right and X in a obviously wrong math question has anything to do with feelings, especially not related to grief. Like, that is cuckoo nonsense. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So you could go, is this my dad? Yes. Is this my dad? No. You have a baseline. When I say,
so my baseline is, if I want to feel the presence of my deceased dad, I have to go into a room, say 2 + 2 equals 4, 2 + 2 equals 4. Ah, there's his presence. And if I don't want to feel his presence, I've got to be 6 plus whatever incorrect number equals 100. Yes, he's not there anymore. That's literally what you just said.
Say it's that simple. In theory, it's that simple. But when you have emotions, when you have grief, loss, all of this kind of gets in the way of us being able to feel what it is energetically that's actually happening with us. And then our brain.
Math isn't feeling, sir. It's basic knowledge.
Gets in the way, like, oh, am I just thinking that? Is that a sign? Am I wishing that? Am I thinking too hard? Am I making that? Or we dismiss things. So Laura Dorenzo says, can our loved ones help guide us or intervene to help us from the other side? The answer is yes. They can do exactly what you asked. They can intervene, but they cannot interfere. They can intervene, but
that's a contradiction. To intervene is to interfere. If I intervene in a meeting, I'm interfering in that meeting. He literally said yes, and he's saying no at the same time. Yes, they can intervene, but no, they can't interfere. This is just like when Umar Johnson tried to say, what was it he tried to say that one time? That, he tried to say there's evidence, but there is no proof. You know, when he said that he believes in proof, he doesn't believe in evidence, or something in reverse. And it's basically the same thing. Like Umar Johnson, he's using two different words that have the same exact meaning and act like there's this big difference. Oh, we can interfere, but we can't. What was it that he said? We can interfere, but we can't. Actually, go back to what he said.
They cannot interfere. What's the difference? You asked. They can intervene, but they cannot interfere.
Yeah, intervene instead of interfere. And if you can intervene in something, you're obviously interfering. Like, that's literally what that word means. To intervene is to interfere. I mean, god damn, how do people not have basic knowledge of words?
They can intervene, but they cannot interfere. What's the difference? Well, if we're all here to learn lessons, and this is the classroom of life, they can't do it for us. They can guide us. They can give us a where they could put something in front of us, but it's up to us as to
how can they. But you just said they can't interfere. How are they going to put something in front of us? If I'm walking in a straight line and somebody places, like, say, a boulder in front of me, then clearly that person is both intervening and interfering my goal to move in that direct path. But you've just said that they can only guide us, they can't stop us. But then you said they can put something in our path. That doesn't make any sense. And also, we're talking about family members. Why would they want to stop us? That doesn't make any sense.
To whether or not we embrace it. It's up to us as to whether or not we acknowledge it. Too many times we are so busy with our everyday lives that we're not centered to recognize that 2 + 2 is 4. I just want to take a moment and say,
I mean, it doesn't matter if you recognize it or not. It's still going to be 4 at the end of the day, sir. It's not going to make any difference.
Thank you guys on both platforms to be here. TikTok, thank you. YouTube guys, thank you so much for being here. If you're just coming across this on either platform, definitely follow the page. This way, when I go live, you'll be notified. And then on TikTok, you guys already know this. There's a banner that's up here that says Evolve Plus TV. Use the code New Moon. On YouTube, it may be in the comments. If somebody could put this in the comments, that would be great. If you go to Evolve Plus TV at 9 p.m. tonight, I'm going live. I will be pulling people up to answer their questions and to interact and do readings. And if you guys use the code New Moon, it's going to give you the entire year for $99.
Wow. A whole promo code with 99 for a whole year of just $99 or something to that effect, just to listen to this dude who says he doesn't work, says he's never going to retire, says that gives these weird wacky lessons that make no sense, says he's going to be all around the world doing all these tours and what have you. And he's primarily trying to convince everyone to go to his Evolved Cult subscription. Classic scammer.
And it's normally like 200 and something. Okay, so I love this question. Clora is asking, can our loved ones who pass travel from country to country? So the answer is yes, they can travel from country to country because they're not bound by a physical body. They don't have to book a flight. They don't have to get on a ship. It's just thought and energy. So just thought and energy.
So basically you're saying as long as they wield themselves to a location, they'll just go there. Okay.
Important to recognize that if you have loved ones who are interred in a different country and you haven't been able to get back and you're thinking like they feel like, oh my God, everybody's left me. They don't come visit me. My gravesite has never been looked at. Nobody brings me flowers. 1, they don't care. 2,
why would they care if they can go anywhere and be anywhere at any time? Why would they care about being in a gravesite? Like by that logic, like imagine the supernatural exists for a moment, okay? And you're supposedly this kinetic spirit. Are you guys going to spend eternity hanging around your grave hoping someone visits you? Or are you just going to go wherever the heck you want? So I don't understand what he's talking about. Oh, nobody put flowers on my grave. They don't care. Why would you care? You can go anywhere you want according to this logic. Who cares?
They're with you. They're not where we park the vehicle. Think about the body as being a car that's parked. The driver gets out.
But you just said it was thought and energy, not a physical form. So why are you putting it in a physical form now?
The driver is not there. So energetically, think like that. So yes, they're not bound by the physical world. Kids do come through, kids do have people and energies come through to them, and it's not uncommon for them to sometimes have a little touch of fear.
And you base that on what scientific or medical foundation? Oh, that's right. You're a medium. You just feel these things. Okay.
Have show and tell here. Okay. So one of the practitioners that we have on Evolve Plus, her name is Pam Sears. So Pam is a medium, and she goes live once a month. She wrote a book called No No Nap, and that is about her grandson. And it's a story that gives.
Oh my God. This dude's now saying, oh, if you go on Evolve Plus, like it's a TV show, and he's promoting another book, this time to show you how children can somehow get invaded by spirits. Bro, you are 100% a washed up scammer. You lost your TV show. You don't have anything else going for you. Everybody knows that you're fake. So now you're just trying to gather up your cult to pay for your expenses so that you don't have to work. And you're putting it all under the guise of, oh, I'm a psychic medium. I'm teaching people life lessons. You aren't teaching anybody shit. You're just trying to take their money. That's all you want. That's all you did when you made this medium shit popular. It's all you're doing now.
Gives the opportunity to be able to have a conversation and a dialogue. You can ask me again. It's No No Nap by Pam Sears. It's a story that gives you the opportunity to have a conversation with kids about spirit. It's an entry level, so kind of cool.
It's not cool, sir, mainly because you're trying to hide it behind a paywall.
When you see 1111 all the time, is that your spirit guides or a loved one giving you a message? Well, it depends on how you look at it. For me, I look at 1111 as a text message from the universe to stop and pay attention to what's happening in that moment. But that's how I look at it. Somebody else may look at 1111 and say, oh, that's their spirit guides talking to them. So it depends upon what you are looking at it as. So you have to see how you're interpreting that. 1111, 11 is in numerology is a master vibration. So 11, 22, 30.
Whatever. The letter 11 is just the number 11 is just a number. All that spiritual mumbo jumbo you're attaching it to, it's a gimmick, sir. It's a gimmick.
3 are considered higher vibrations of the numbers 1 through 9. So a numerologist will explain all that to you, but fascinating when
numerologist, okay.
When you get into understanding that. I do believe, Darcy, in astral travel and astral projection. Different languages. Okay, so here's the thing. If they come through with information in a different language, sure, you can interpret that and pass that on. I have had moments of...
John, we literally have translators now that literally let us read and write and understand any language that anyone could ever use. I even use dead languages like Latin and other such things that I can write to people at will. But you're talking about as, oh, different languages, big mystery. And it's not a big mystery. If it's a different language, you literally just pull out your phone, press a little button, and boom, you can literally have it translated to you. Or if it's being a message sent to you within your phone, you can literally just press on a little button and boom, you'll instantly know what the language is saying. So there's no need to interpret anything when it's a different language. Just use a translator.
Of getting information that appears to be a different language, and I phonetically will write it out. I recently saw somebody on TikTok were doing something in person live where they were getting information in what seems to be an unbelievable capacity. Awesome if it's true. A little bit too like, whoa, my skeptical mindset kind of kicked in, because if
you don't have a skeptical mindset, sir. You did, according to my research, you did have a skeptical mindset about, ironically, mediums and psychic abilities until you were 15 and you had a reading with a woman and it convinced you of your own abilities. So now you go around telling everyone, I can communicate with the dead. Your only skepticism now is rooted on this basic principle of, well, is it something that I can use to make my followers subscribe to Evolve and pay me money? Or is it something that I don't want some other quote unquote psychic medium taking away my fan base? That's all your skepticism is rooted in. It's not based on actual skepticism based on reasoning. You just want to keep the scam going.
If you can get information that clearly in different languages, then it should be that clearly in English. But that's just me assessing. But it can come through. You can actually get things in different languages. I've gotten it sporadically. My predominant language is always going to be English, and they have to find a way to get me to understand it.
Sir, you obviously can, as I said, you can use a translator. It doesn't matter if you only speak English, and that's probably what you do.
Butterfly Inspired asked, does spirit age in the afterlife? The answer is no, because there's no body. So we age in the physical world.
Well, that was a dumb question. Obviously, if you're dead, you can't age.
Our body ages. So I always use the example that we age in experience and energy and wisdom, but we don't have a physical body to actually age. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't show themselves age appropriate. So if a child was 5 when they passed and it's 20 years later, that child can either come through as a 5-year-old or that child can come through as a 25-year-old.
So now they can just be whatever they want to be. Okay.
Depends on how that happens. Chat B365, you love the background lighting? I kind of feel like I got to set the mood. And just so you guys know, when I do private readings and when I do my groups, even if it's not live, I like on camera, I set this as for me. This is like for you guys to look at because it's nice. I did that when, COVID started and people were on Zooms constantly. And I just felt it was important to kind of like set the energy right. And I do this when I'm
no one gives a damn about your energy. What, you're just with a bunch of followers. Half the audience is either making fun of you, and the other half is literally devoted to hearing every word and is subscribing to your Evolve because you are a cult leader, sir. You have nothing to offer the people but cultism.
I'm actually just reading. I like the energy to feel a certain way. Kind of sets the vibe. Kind of like burning sage. As soon as I smell the sage burning, that kind of puts me in the zone. And for those of you who are going to ask, yes, these up here are genie bottles from the TV show, I Dream of Jeannie. Yes, that's what those are. Because people inherently always go, are those? Yeah, yes, they are. And if you're interested to know where you can get them, geniebottles.com.
Bro, he's killing me with all these promo shits because I mean, there is no other way to view you as a scammer than when you start throwing out promo codes and saying, here's my book, get it at johnedwards.com. Oh, I've got a friend that you can get her book. You just have to go to evolvepro.com. And oh, by the way, if you subscribe now and use my promo code, you'll have a full year of just paying a little under $100 for my special benefits. I mean, come on now.
So Crystal Summers is saying, why don't I get any messages or any signs from my loved ones? I get nothing, zero, zip, nada. I added the zip and nada. I have to say, I think that when people think they're not getting anything, they're usually the ones that are getting more than they realize. We have an expectation that it's going to be big and huge and larger than we would expect. And then when it's as subtle as it is, because it's subtle, it's very, very subtle, people miss it because they're like, well, that's not a sign. It should be this, or it should be that. I was that person. I get it. I used to think it should be this and it should be that, and then I accepted for.
Sir, that wasn't the question that you were asked. What you were asked was, why is it when you're telling everybody 2 + 2 = 4, and that's how you can tell a presence or whatever, why are you getting nothing? And your response was, well, actually, those who feel like they're not getting any messages get more messages than average. That's not an answer to her question as to why you in particular don't ever feel anything when it comes to your own family.
I accepted it for what it actually is, and I embraced it for what it is. Yes, I will be.
So basically what he just said there was he doesn't get any messages because he gets so many of them that he doesn't even recognize them. Okay.
In rally, I'll see you there. Cookie shirt. I almost wore the cookie shirt. I don't know who just said that, but I almost wore the cookie shirt tonight. I almost had it on. J.E., did you know Pam Sears' second children's book, Leo's First Field Trip, launched last week? I did not. Well, hopefully Pam's going to bring that up on Evolve. And if she did, I missed it. That's cool. You get a chance to follow the journey. Just April, but why do you look younger than 20 years ago? Thank you. That's what I'm supposed to say. Thank you.
What does this have to do with anything?
But this is where I explain to you, lighting is really important. Have to say it because it's true. Lighting is really important. That, and I've focused on my health in a very, very big way. And from an energetic standpoint, I want you guys to know what that means. It means that I looked up.
Oh, here we go with the energy.
My astrological chart. And I saw that there was an aspect that was coming up that was health related, which was like, JE's going to go for a health challenge, which means that I had to go through a health kind of metamorphosis. So I made sure that it was me doing the metamorphosizing.
He's just making up whatever he can to continue to make this to add filler. Basically, he doesn't have anything major to reveal.
Whatever it is, I made the changes and the transitions of my own free will. So I didn't want to be put in a hospital for any reason to have to reflect on my health. I decided to be proactive, and this is where I tell people, have your astrological chart done at least once a year, and just be aware of what transits you have coming up. And let me add to your astrological questions. If you don't have your birth time and you don't know that, and you don't know
astrological, that has nothing to do with your health, dude. If you want to keep yourself healthy, avoid eating all the freaking fast food shit that the corporations constantly make us eat and advertise to us 24/7. Avoid that temptation. Go the extra mile to go to a grocery store and literally eat all the nasty carrots and all that other good shit, healthy stuff that you're supposed to eat. That all of us look at it and be like, we know we're supposed to, but it's nasty. Just go ahead and do that. Go to get a gym subscription and whatever, or even if you don't want a gym subscription, just walk around every day. Keep the heart growing, burning those calories. That's how you keep yourself fit and what have you. This astro chart shit has nothing to do with it.
So this one, yes, they can actually do something called rectification, where they can help you know what your chart is. If you can't, right away to get your birth certificate with the time on it. You need your birth date, birth location, and your birth time. And you don't want to trust,
Rosetta, you're a registered nurse. Please tell us how well an astro chart is going to actually help you stay healthy. Because I want to hear a professional nurse's opinion. How many times in your professional career as a nurse were you ever told, let the patients know their astro charts need to be updated? We'll wait on Rosetta to do that. I'm going to continue on with the video.
Oh, mom said it was in the afternoon. Right away for it. Get the actual date. So that's important. And then just be aware of what the lessons are, because if you have these lessons and you can be proactive with them, then you're making life happen for you as opposed to life happening to you. And I always say this to people that are between the ages of 58 and 62, because I've seen in readings that the second Saturn return that we go through, which is every 28 to 30 years, that's where it usually hits people. That is where it usually hits people, where they are.
What do you mean usually hits people? What are you talking about?
Sitting on a stretcher in a hospital, staring at the fluorescent lights going, what am I doing with my life? Why is this happening? So find the right astrologer. It could be very, very life-changing.
An astrologist is not going to have anything to do with you staying healthy. You're giving people pseudoscience advice.
This is really live. User 96588366288. It's actually really, really live. And can I just say this? The other night, we were watching, my wife was flipping through TikTok, and we came across Teresa Caputo's face, literally just her face. And it was alive, just like this. And they were playing, I guess, scenes of her show, and it sounded like it was live. And I'm like, wait, that's not real. This is not her real page. So I texted her, and I was like, hey, are you live on TikTok? And she's like, no, I'm actually not. Explained what's going on. And I was feeling a little trolly myself. So I was like, this is not real. This is not real. This is not real. So please, guys, be really, really careful. I'm glad that you actually just asked.
Do you not understand that there's such a thing as AI now, sir? Especially on TikTok. So this isn't so famous people's voices being copied and used in videos is not some sort of brand new thing that no one has ever encountered. We've all seen it. You're not a wise person for telling us about this. Everybody pretty much knows about it.
Asked if this is real. Yes, it's real. It's live. And for the people who are just coming in, Thank you for being here. If you're new to YouTube, I'm new to YouTube.
Yeah, well, if you're new to YouTube, first thing I want to tell you is stop filling your lives with just fillers. You know, actually have your content pre-planned. For example, I pre-planned this video, this live stream, and everything we're going over by actually researching your video, researching who you were, researching what, you know, your background, so that, you know, if anybody in the audience ever had a question for me, I would be able to answer immediately, you know, sort of like what a Q&A is supposed to be like. And you wouldn't be just, you know, standing here making up all these filler nonsense subjects and anecdotal stories just so that you'd have something to talk about.
Thank you for being here. If you follow me, it'll give you an alert the next time I do this. I'm going to try to do this often to introduce Evolve Plus to people. I want to
see, he just admitted it. He wants to introduce Evolve Plus, his subscription. Just like Umar Johnson, he wants you to take over. He wants you to introduce you to his subscription base and offer you all these promos, not because he truly believes in his psychic bullshit, but because it gets him money. As Miss Independent said, he works hard not to work.
Build that community as best as I can. So if you're here on TikTok, you see the logo above me. It says Evolve Plus TV. Use the code New Moon. I'm going live tonight at 9 p.m. I'm going to be pulling people up to answer their questions and to do readings. And on YouTube, I'm sure it's Jenny. I was waiting for it. I was like, it's going to be Jenny. It's going to be.
Hey, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm sorry I didn't lift up your comments. It wasn't intentional. I was looking and I just couldn't see it progress. So sorry about that, guys. Neurology is a 1980 Cosmo, exactly. So let me just catch up to these comments. I wasn't ignoring you guys. I didn't know. Yep, equal opportunities, etc., etc. So it's open to interpretation based on donation. Exactly, Miss Independent. Exactly. And thank you. Exactly what I meant. Yeah, he is giving false information to people. This is appending to little hangout fruit women energetically spending money. Exactly. So I want to apologize that I didn't actually see your guys' comments or highlight them. It wasn't intentional. I just, for some reason on my end, it wasn't showing new comments pop up. And so until I started pulling it down. So now I'm glad I caught up. But yes, exactly. Didn't learn any of that in nursing school. Exactly.
It's going to be Olivia, where she'll wait until I'm done. She'll be like, how are the meeple? I love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosetta.
T-Bird's mom, love hearing you speak. Oh, thank you. You're good, meeple. Why?
Yeah, and I'm sure their pockets are good too, ain't they, John?
Why are most mediums from Long Island? So I guess the joke would be it's in the water, right? But I think it's more than that. I think that when you have people speaking a certain language or a certain accent, where there's a certain thing that happens in a very small concentrated area, you now have an awareness about it. So when it happens with other people, there's a point of comparison. I think that's the reason. That to me is the most logical, that we're all kind of in this area because it's familiar. It's an accent. So when the awareness gets alerted, people learn from each other. Like that to me is the reason why.
In other words, you're talking about the very basic fundamental reason we have language. Oh, yes, John, you created a fantastic discovery. We require language and a shared communication in order to learn from each other. Oh, yes, that is such a great breakthrough. Thank you, Almighty John, for letting us know that.
Thanks, Katie. This is cool. This is kind of like awesome to have like both these happen at the same time. Hello from Perth. Hi, Cat. Cat Purr. I like that. Amy B. Smith. I followed you for years, seen you live and read your books. You're simply wonderful. Well, I'm glad I picked that. Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that.
So this is supposed to be a Q&A, and he's mostly picking people who have nice things to say about him rather than answering every question he possibly can.
Old Lady Shuck. Do you hear accents or perceive other languages in English? I have heard, rare, but I have heard moments of people give me information in a different like accent. And I remember one, it was somebody whose dad's name was Bernard. And the only reason why I remember this is I did a live event somewhere in the UK, and I was reading somebody in the back of the room, and there was a gentleman who was sitting like right here.
And here he gives us another irrelevant story, as if language is even a barrier anymore in today's time. And I guess it is for people like him who aren't really understanding. Like he just said, he's just discovered YouTube, and he's just done his very first live, according to him. So clearly he's not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to technology. Maybe he should have spent more time in classes and education rather than talking to dead people and scamming people on live shows. Just a thought.
I was like, your dad's passed. And he was like, yes. And then I went back to the person in the back, and then I was like, your dad's telling me his name's with a B. And he went, yes. And I went to the other person. I was like, so I'm like going back and forth between two different people coming through. And they said, your dad's telling me his name is Bernard. He goes, it is not. Like, okay. And I go back to the woman in the back left.
So you were wrong then. Okay, so you heard an accent from a dead guy, and he said his name is Bernard, and the son literally came to, and you said your dad's name is Bernard, and he's like, no. Okay, I don't know why you want to share that information with us.
I must have said Bernard to him at least 2 or 3 times, and then finally at the end I said, I'm so sorry. He said, what's your dad's name? Bernard. I'm like,
that was a good one. It's independent. Come on, Judge. He just learned TikTok. That was a good one. Leave it to Miss Independent to always have a good comment ready and waiting for all of us to hear.
You shitting me right now? Come on. But because of that experience on a phone reading, I heard Bernard in my head. And I was like, is your dad's name Bernard? And they was like, yes, his name is Bernard. So that's an example.
But the first time you got it, it was Bernard. And they told you no. And then the second time you got it was Bernard. So what that tells us is you basically did a guessing game, like you got exposed for back when you had a show. You guessed the first time, they said no. So you used psychological so you use psychology to try and get the second closest likelihood, which was Bernard. And then you got yes. And instead of admitting, well, you were just guessing like an honest person would, you said, no, your dad from beyond the grave told me it. But apparently he told you it wrong the first time. I just don't get it.
Example where I've actually heard things in a different language. You've been to several of my live events, and it feels like church. I hope church in a good way, I hope. Hello to everybody in Australia. I will see you guys at the end of this year. I cannot wait to come back.
I thought he was going to, where was it? What was it called? It wasn't England. It was, I thought he said, help me out, chat. Didn't he say he was going to go to somewhere else? Like he brought up, yeah, wasn't it Canada that he said he was going to next year? I could have sworn it was Canada that he said he was going to. Now it's Australia. Right. And that actually tracks, Rosetta. That actually tracks because as I said earlier in the video, as I showed in the documents, he actually tried to use that as a defense when he got criticized for getting his psychic readings wrong. He argued it wasn't that he got it wrong, it was that his own family of the clients were the ones that didn't remember the history right, and that's why it appeared wrong, but his psychics was correct. That's what it was. Yeah, and right, Canada. So dude has a busy schedule. He's saying he's going to Canada, he's going to London, he's going to Australia, and all the while he just did his very first live YouTube video. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he's not going nowhere and he's just going to feed off the donations like a certain Oompa Loompa that we know.
I spend a good part of the year there. Kelly SOS, you've been watching me since the 90s, which is crazy. Yeah. Kelly, this is like 41 years of doing this. I jokingly and truthfully say I go back to the 1900s. Aw, thank you.
1900s.
I'll be there. I will be there at the end of this year. Hello from Wales. Oh my God, I love Wales. When I tell you I love Wales, and I don't mean like the ones in the ocean, I mean the country. I love the country of Wales.
I think they kind of got that the first time. I'm pretty sure somebody from Wales knows that you're talking about Wales. See, I don't like that condescending attitude that all these scammers have towards people. I get it. They think their audience is dumb. They're trying to live a life of getting paid. But I hate the condescending attitude where they look at their audience and be like, I got to explain everything to you like you're a child, just so that they can get your money. I mean, scamming them, that's despicable. It's wrong and it's terrible, and fuck you for that. But at the same time, treating them like children is a whole nother level of disrespect, because then it's not just the money anymore, it's personal.
I love Cardiff. I love Swansea. I cannot wait to, in 2027, hopefully get back to Wales. If you guys are asking about actual doing readings and going live, I'm doing that on Evolve Plus at 9 p.m. So I'm just watching the clock. So at 9 p.m., I'm going live. I'm doing this exact thing, except when I'm live there, I will be randomly pulling people up.
Yes, Miss Independent. He said logical. He dared use the L word.
To answer their questions and to do readings for people. So that's going to be reading intensive. So if you guys want to be a part of that, please, please, please come join Evolve Plus TV.
Join Evolve Plus TV. See, again, all of it is a promo code. Oh, get my promo code for this. Oh, I want you to subscribe for this. Oh, I want you to get my book for this. Everything is a promo code with this dude.
I look forward to be back in Newcastle. Thank you.
Not only that, Mr. Independent, but you also have to remember he was actually asked if he felt the spirits within social media, and he told him no. So even though he supposedly, reads people and communicates with dead people, apparently the dead have absolutely no access to the internet or online. So his supernatural senses don't work online. It truly is unbelievable. Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
I think really what's important, if you go to, I'm not on Cameo. If you guys go to evolveplus.tv and use the code New Moon, it's going to discount the entire year to $99. And it's only
discount the entire year to $99. Oh, don't worry, it's just $100. We're gonna even reduce it to 99, so it's not even that full 100. Oh wow. And that's at a discount. He considers just $99 at a discount. Like, dude, do you understand the economy we live in? You say $99 like it's candy. $99 ain't candy, especially if you're poor, like most of us are.
Only like $229 or something like that when it's $20 a month or $249. ACAP, I'll see you in Staten Island, most definitely. That's my other home.
And now he's going to Staten Island. You know what? We need to plant a flag on every major area on the earth and tell his entire family that's where he's going to. That's not his family. Sorry, his entire fan base, and tell them he's going to be on every area on the earth, because that's essentially what he's telling everyone.
You missed the smaller Westbury Music Fair venue. That wasn't small. That was 3,000 people. Is that a joke? Karen Penny, are you making it funny?
3,000 people is small, sir. Compared to the population of the world, compared to how on average what most people get, Yes, that is incredibly small.
What is the best meditation technique? Whichever one works for you. No joke. Whichever one works for you. I will be coming to Nashville. If you guys go to johnedward.net.
And now he's going to Nashville. Just say you're going to planet Earth at this point, because that seems to be, because you seem to exist everywhere on planet Earth.
It's going to tell you where all my events are. Westbury was the best. You know what? Westbury was a lot of fun. I remember I did like 7 or 8 sold out shows there in a row, a couple of years in a row. And every year I went back, they would say to me,
and now you're just focusing on past glories. Whatever. It doesn't matter how many you successfully did for several years, man. We ain't talking about what happened back in the good old days. We're talking about now.
Either I was one show ahead of Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. For the young people, you have no idea who that is. For the people who are my age and older, you do. But they held the record, I believed at the time. So
hey, Rosetta, Miss Independent, you're both right. And you want to know why you're both right? One, he's saying it because it's practically a bid to end homelessness, because basically this is what he's going to do. And I don't even have to, and I'm telling you, this is what's most likely going to happen. He's going to be saying, because he did this live stream 2 days ago, he's going to have his subscribers, his hardcore subscribers, really hoping he's going to have all these tours and events, right? And maybe he'll do some of them, but a great majority of them, he'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, unexpected things came up, I'm not able to make the trip, what have you, and he's still going to collect all the money. And Rosetta is right that he got a lot of money to be traveling, and guess who's paying for it? These evolved subscribers, the evolved people that are his loyal fan bases. They're the reason he's being able to travel so much. Exactly. Over-promising to under-deliver. That is the goal. And that's exactly how he's getting all this money to travel, because he doesn't work, he doesn't have a job, and he said he don't work. So guess what he's relying on is donations to. I feel like this has become the thing now in 2026, where a lot of people who want to work to not work, they just get a live stream, get a cult following, make those cult members pay them subscription fees, and then they just live their lives as best they can under that fund until it's all dried up, and then they come up with a new gimmick.
The only place that I'm going to be in 2026 in the UK is London. I know it's not how I wanted it. It's just how this.
Well, that's not what you said earlier. Earlier you said towards the end of the year you're going to Australia. Now you're saying only place you're going to be in 2026 is London. But before, you said you were going to be in Nashville. You said you were going to go to Australia towards the end. Now you're saying 2026 we're only going to England, baby. That is literally what you're saying now, but that's not what you said 2 minutes ago.
This got organized. 2027, and please don't blow up my Facebook page, because we all in the office know, we see it, we got the emails. I am on behalf of Cat and Company at the office. 2027, we will UK it up. However,
2027, you said in 2026. Now it's 2027. He's shifting dates.
26, London, just one. I'll be there.
You said, dude, you said you were going to be, no. See, now we know you're lying. First, you said you were going to be in Canada and then England. Now you're saying, and then you said towards the end of the year, you're going to be in Austria. I mean, not Austria, Australia. And now you're saying, nope, London. London is the only place I'm going to be in 2026. What a fucking liar.
Did I ever go to, I don't even know how to pronounce that, the Bee Castle in Wales?
Hey, Sassy.
I've seen it, but I have not been to it.
Glad to have you here whenever you come here. And I'm so glad that you're here, man. You definitely you're definitely going to want to watch the replay on this one. And and yes, Miss Independent, this is just to fund his unaffordable vacations. Exactly. Yeah, he can't. I mean, he doesn't realize. Well, you know what? I'll give him some slack. Let's give him some slack, chat. He doesn't realize how YouTube culture works, I guess. You know, that your reputation is everything. So I guess he doesn't realize how damaging and how easy it is to expose lies on here. So that might be why he's so readily going to lie so easily about where he's going to go. But, you know, and hey, I'm not omniscient. You guys let me know if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn he said he was going to go to Canada. He said he was going to go to Nashville. He said he was going to go to all these locations, only for him to say and Australia to the end of by the end of the year to Australia. But then he switches it all up and saying, I'm only going to be in the UK. That's the only place I'm going to be. That's the narrative that I heard. You guys let me know if I'm right on that. So a chump will play for all your fans, but it's not good, but it's not a money grab. Exactly.
Karen Penny, you remember when I brought Justin on stage there? Oh my God, he was so little. That was the benefit for my cousin who passed. Yeah. He was a little elf.
Oh, and Miss Independent, not only is it one little detail to add, not only are they paying for a whole year up front for $99, but also that's at a discount. Apparently, in order to even get that much, Miss Independent, you have to launch a promo code. So even that price that you just talked about, it's at a discount for $99. For $99, which is the discount, which you have to get through a promo, pay up a whole front for a year, and he wants us to believe it's not a money grab. Yes, he has changed it so many times. It is unbelievable.
So Fallen Angels, you're asking if I'm going to be back in Australia. I'll be back at the end of the year.
See, he says that.
How draining is this job? Well,
he says at the end of the year, but you heard him. He said 2026, I'm only going to be in London. But then he just said again, I'm going to be in Australia at the end of the year.
It could be pretty draining. It could be pretty draining. And other times it could be invigorating. Depends upon the people. Depends on the living people, not so much the people in spirit. How did I get started? So in 1985, I went to debunk a woman that was doing readings at my grandmother's house, and I wanted to prove to my family that she wasn't real. So I said I was going to prove that she wasn't real. And I sat with her, and she changed my life in 20 minutes, literally.
And that means what that tells us is you got brainwashed, fool. You got brainwashed. They and that actually his retelling, he's not lying there. And that retelling is exactly what my AI basically came up with when my AI did the research. That's exactly what came out. He was, I don't know if it was 1985 per se, but at one point when he was 15, which I guess is what he's talking about in 1985, he did go have a discussion with a woman who claimed to be a psychic, and through that meeting, he was convinced of his own abilities. So yes, this is one of the few things he isn't lying about. He literally got brainwashed by some lady when he was 15, which I guess it was in the 1980s, of his own abilities. Always appreciate that, Sass. So that's the part that actually is consistent with my reports. He's not lying. He did get brainwashed. He was skeptical of this stuff before, and then he got convinced of his own abilities after talking to this lady. Scheduling conflict. Whoop, I can't make it. Exactly.
20 minutes changed my entire life.
And how much? And just another thing, how much of a skeptic or educated person were you really in 1985 if a 20-minute conversation was enough to convince you? I'm just saying. you know, I'm just saying, like, one, you were a teenager, so you were still easily manipulated. Two, a true skeptic, I guess the difference between an amateur and a professional is somebody who can actually think critically and takes much longer to convince within quote unquote 20 minutes.
And put me on this path. That's how I got started.
Shit. I became an atheist when I was 15, and I'm still an atheist at 15. At 28, sorry, not at 15, at 28. Messing up my words today. So, for me, and I've spoken with many different faiths, possibly thousands of them in my lifetime, and none of them have ever convinced me. My constant exposure to religion and speaking to different faiths actually strengthened my lack of belief. And I actually have very, not proclaiming that I'm absolutely right, because I'm an agnostic as well, but I'm just saying that I developed a very strong foundation for why I think the way that I think. And no 20-minute conversation is going to be enough to demolish it. Not saying I can't be convinced that I'm wrong or that I'm right. I'm just saying that somebody who is able to go from, oh, I don't believe you, to I believe you in just 20 minutes is a flip-flopper, and not really a guy who has strong, convictions or strong, opinions on subjects. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, in 15 minutes, I will be over on Evolve. Do not worry. I will be there. So one of the things that you guys are asking in both places is if somebody that used to come see me, because I've been doing this a long time, has now passed, would they come through, and is it any different? It's honestly not different. I don't really have a symbol where they make it about me, unless they used to make fun of me. I know that's weird, but I do have a symbol. If someone in life didn't believe in the subject matter, that has to do with me looking at, they show me a television screen with me pointing like this on crossing over. And when I see that, I know that in life, the person, because usually there's legs, instead of standing in front of the television. The person's like, this is not real, kind of a vibe. So when I see that, I know that in life, the person was a non-believer who's now coming through. I have not.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, what? You get a mental image of a freaking TV screen of somebody pointing saying they don't believe, and that's enough for you to know if they were a non-believer? That doesn't make any coherent sense whatsoever.
Not really had it where the person tells me they were a huge fan of my work. I know it's come up a couple of times, and people have told me, like, oh, she loved you, or she used to come to all your events.
So what that tells me is, what I think that tells me is, you literally, you don't get, the reason you don't get any of these supposed dead people or former fans is because, guess what? Those former fans, when they died, they realized you were full of shit, and so now you don't hear about them anymore. The afterlife knows your bullshit. I'm just kidding. I don't believe in no afterlife or nothing. I just like poking fun at his ideology, because it's just so freaking ridiculous and honestly hard to follow. Okay, really Jessica.
Kind of amazing with what they can.
Hey, Jessica, thank you for stopping by, and definitely I hope you enjoy the replay, and you have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Pluto.
What they can bring through. And this is what I always kind of like lead with. They know with intention what they want to get across. They know with intention what they want to say. And they know with intention what is going to be okay for us to hear, even if it's not what we want to hear. And I think the most important...
Well, I'm pretty sure none of the spirits ever came to your ear, John, and said, promo code $9.55 and off, order now, like you've been doing. Because I'm pretty sure if an afterlife was real and ghosts could actually had to work their mailing system through channeling through specialized individual mediums like yourself, the last thing they're going to do is say, promote the book, John. Promote the book. That's all your marketing shit, bro. And that's what all of this is. It's a marketing scam.
It's part of this job sitting on this side of the screen is information and validation to show that there's an actual connection.
Exactly.
Yes, they're okay. Yes, they love you. Yes, they're out of physical pain. And I know people need to hear that, but I also think that in the world that we live in, we need actual facts and details and information to help support that.
And how are we supposed to get facts and details if you're the only one that can hear these supposed dead people? See how it all revolves around becoming a personality cult where believe in the word of medium John Edward. You have no choice but to submit to the evolved cult that has now with promo codes $9.99 a month at a discount so that you can now hear the great words of John Edwards, which, by the way, isn't even really his words. It's words from beyond the grave. Order now.
And then the other stuff kind of comes in for me. While I'm reading, I'm going to constantly hit that source to go accurate. Okay, I'm interpreting this correctly. Just like 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2 is 4. You need that kind of validation to move forward. And then usually it's just the person just validating like yes or no what it is that they understand. I don't see them in the physical sense. I actually feel them energetically. So in my mind, so like if I'm reading, I'll stare at that wall and then whatever images that I'm actually seeing, it's almost like in my mind but projected up on the wall. I give myself a focal point. It's all.
So wait a minute. Listen to the cute clue he just gave us. He gives himself a focal point. That means he gives himself. He creates the voices in his head. He creates the images in his head, and it's all coming within the dome right here. So you know what that tells us? Dude is hearing voices because he's schizophrenic or something like that. Because he's hearing voices, my guy. You need to go check yourself into a mental institution, go through electrotherapy, whatever you need to go through so the voices don't bother you no more, because clearly they aren't who you think they are.
Also the reason why many times if you've been in a room where I'm doing readings, you'll notice that I don't look at the person that I'm reading.
I think he banned somebody earlier when I didn't comment on it, but he did say I have to ban someone earlier. So I think if any of us were on his chat, he would literally ban all of us within a few minutes, and then his whole evolved crowd would basically eat us alive in the comments, so no one would see what we're saying anyway.
I look away from them, and the reason why I look away from them is sometimes their facial expressions get in the way. Their facial expressions will throw me because if somebody they're making a face or they're thinking, it looks like they're not getting it, it'll pull me out of the moment of what I'm getting to make sure that.
So basically, you're saying this all runs on Wi-Fi. If you're not staring directly at a clean surface, the imagery won't work. But if you're staring at your clients who are asking about their moms or their dads or whoever they lost, you're going to interfere some satellite interference, and you're not going to be able to do it properly. We're dealing with Wi-Fi powered mediums, people. Wi-Fi powered medium.
That they're actually understanding. So it kind of puts me in a different spot. So I try to look away and then I'll say, do you understand? Or can they actually validate that?
It's called it's what happens when you don't graduate school, Rosetta. You don't graduate school, you don't go to high school, you don't use AI, you don't go to college, and you're left, and then you just get introduced to social media for the first time. Sad, but it's how it happens. People like John, they target the illiterate. They target the people who said, you know what, I'm too cool for school, and just decided I'm gonna be a rock star on social media, and this is who they wind up following. They said no to Albert Einstein. They said yes to John. Yes to John. No to expanding their mind. Yes to the 99 code subscription.
Miss Alligator Farm, you are correct. You are very correct on both counts. Julie Banner, tips to avoid scammers posing as mediums. If you don't.
I'm sorry, but he got asked. After all the promo code, after all the book selling, after all the subscriptions that he was offering, he just got asked how to avoid psychic scammers posing as mediums. They're all scams, all of them.
See information that's validated, if you don't see information that's continually validated during the course of the reading.
Exactly. Rosetta, you looking at one.
It should not just be about basic signs and symbols. If you come to one of my events, you're going to hear me say something along the lines of, if you're hoping to hear about cardinals, butterflies, feathers, ladybugs, 1111, 222, 333, dragonflies, all of those things are real, by the way, using as signs, but every medium knows that. So for me to stand in front of a group of people, right, collectively, I don't know how many people we have here together, but like, if we were to legitimately go, who here connects with cardinals? Actually, let's do that on both platforms. Who here connects with cardinals? Where's that your sign? Just put a thumbs up. Just give me a.
So he's wasting time just talking, and not directly answering the question. The question was, how do we know the difference between a scammer and an actual psychic medium? And not only has he failed to answer the question so far, but he also seems to be forgetting that he's literally used 2 + 2 = 4 to give legitimacy to what he's saying.
A thumbs up so everybody here can actually watch. Me, right? So it would be very easy for anybody to come on a live and be like, someone in this live connects with cardinals and it's your so-and-so, and then makes that person feel like, oh my God, that's a message for me. But you got to take that further and you got to go deeper. And I feel like people always ask me, how.
That wasn't an answer. See, he never answered the question. The person asked, how do I know the difference between a real psychic and a scammer? And he just went on this whole spill of butterflies, dragons, and what have you, and said, yes, everyone can say that, but you got to go deeper. What does that have to do with the question? That never answered the question.
How come crossing over is not in reruns? Would you want to see crossing over in reruns? Absolutely not. And they're like, why? I said, because that was me 25 years ago. It's not me today. It's not a good depiction of me today. The work that I do today is deeper. I'm getting into people's lessons and I'm getting into things that I never got into back then on the show. One, because I wasn't allowed to. And two, I really was just about kind of like showing people that this was real. Like, here's the information. Not to take away from any of those experiences, but it's like, it's different.
I'm reading some of these comments and they are not believing him, not to that degree. They're laughing at him.
So for me today, I'm in the evolve place. I'm in the place of wanting to help people evolve through the world of energy. I already brought up tonight.
And the 99-cent subscription, $99 subscription a month promo code. Don't forget that. To evolve, we must pay a paywall. To evolve, we must become cult followers. And to evolve, we must accept 2 + 2 = 4.
Right. Astrology. Like, you should get your charts done. Understanding numerology and why that's significant. So all of those things are significant. But to go back to like, how can you tell if somebody's a scammer? If they are coming at you in like a direct message, or I have a message for you, that to me is a red flag. If you're seeing anybody like trying to like.
So you said all of that just to say, well, if someone directly tells you they have a message for you, that's a red flag. Dude, you could have just said that from the beginning. Oh, how do you tell if somebody's a scammer versus a real psychic medium? Well, a real psychic medium won't just come up and tell you they have a message for you. Bing, bang, done. And you could have moved on to something else. You wasted all that word salad just to say that. Wow.
Drop there. If you're like on this live and there's people that are direct messaging you like, I can read you, I could read you, I could read you. In my opinion, anybody who's good at what they do, they're going to have a following.
Exactly, Miss Independent. Braden Runner, you too can learn nothing, but his electric bill will get paid in the winter. Exactly. Yeah.
Word of mouth. By word of mouth is to me, the quintessential thing that leads someone's practice. You know, having
word of mouth leads to someone's practice. Dude, have you never heard of hearsay? We can't trust word of mouth. That's why evidence exists.
Having a book published? Nope. Being on TV? Nope. Being on radio?
So okay, according to this logic, in order for me to have any credibility, one, trust word of mouth. Two, ask if I've published a book. Three, ask if I've been on TV. Ask if I've been on radio. And if all of these questions are no, then I have no credibility. Okay.
Oh, nope. Because all those things people can achieve with ambition. But by word of mouth, doing the best job you can, reading after reading.
Oh, and a little fun fact for us and John, creating books now is easy to generate through AI. You can actually use AI to generate books now. So, in point of fact, what used to take traditionally months, possibly years to do, you can generate a very well written book digitally. And put it through a PDF or a rich text document, whatever, a TXT, whatever you want, just through Gemini. You can totally do that. I do it all the time. And the best part of all is the best part of that is that you would be able to literally, I said it would take about 5 minutes to create it initially, and then it would just take you like within not even an hour, you'd have a very long illustrated book by just keeping adding chapters and instructing the AI what to do to make that book more expansive, so that you can have a very masterpiece of a book. And that would only take you, I'd estimate, 20, 30 minutes, depending on how sophisticated you wanted the book. My point being, writing a book is not impressive in 2026.
And that being passed on, where you actually made a difference in someone's life, and that person has been shifted, that to me is how I would want somebody to go by word of mouth. And not just by one person, but like other people that have as well.
So he relies on showing on lip reading. Yep, lip reading, exactly.
So Bridget Whitney, 1879, how do you address faith and Christianity doing this work? Very simply, I was born and raised Catholic. My kids were raised Catholic. I come from a Christian mindset. I have a very strong foundation in faith. My faith is unwavering. I don't like organized religion, and I absolutely despise where like Christianity is being depicted today, because it's more.
And yet you have no problem demanding people to get into your evolved cult and pay you for psychiatric mediums, and to just have faith that you're being totally honest with them. That's funny. I mean, that is funny to me, because, you know, one thing that I think we could agree with him on, that he probably criticizes the church for, is how they demand so much money from their faithful, and yet give very little in return. And I think most of us, including him, would agree with that. But then you got to look at him and realize, well, he's making people pay $99 a month paywalls to access his book, to access his supposed abilities. And what is he giving in return? Nothing. And he's basing it all off of supernatural or spiritualism. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a hypocrite. He's hypocritically hating the church, the organized religion, for misleading people, but all he's doing is misleading people himself and getting money for it as well.
Of a corporate depiction that's trying to get people into a mindset and a narrative. It's not about empowering people. That's why I don't like it. So that's how I look at it. But most importantly, I look at this as being energetic.
Does anyone notice that how many fireplace? Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah, I think I see one, but I guess there would have to be a second one, you know, because maybe he has a fireplace right here, I guess. But that's interesting. I didn't notice that detail. He definitely has conflicted views, yes. And I would go so far as to say they're hypocritical views.
Got it. I am painting a portrait of energy, and how an individual chooses to frame that portrait is up to them. And that is the reason why you will not usually hear me say the word heaven in referring to people in the afterlife, because that gives you a religious framework. So I don't like to have any type of religious framework.
But you literally just said you're Catholic, you raised your kids Catholic, and that you oh John. You have some very out of the woodwork ideas, my friend. Very out of the woodwork.
Thanks, be well, Michelle. So
hey, money boy.
People are asking me like, where do you get astrologers? So you can get astrologers anywhere.
Hey, money boy, this guy is such a scammer. You're going to see a lot of similarities between him and Umar. Now, they're not the same people, obviously, but I mean, some of the tactics are the same. And listen to this. If you watch earlier in the video, you'll hear him say, "Oh yes, here's a discount promo code of $99 a month, a year, and that's and $99 a year is a discount, and you need a promo code for that." And he's going around here claiming to be a psychic medium. He's actually the guy, John. What is this guy's name again? John Edward. He is actually the guy who made mediums very popular, going on TV, having his own TV show. And oh, dude, there's just so much to get into about this dude. But he's a scammer, bro. He's a scammer, and he's a very out of this world scammer, and he does a lot of tactics that I found similar to Umar. But good showing up, bro.
Literally, but like anything else, you want to go to someone that you feel like you've watched their work or you've heard something about them by word of mouth. There are lots of places. I'm not going to lie. There are a number of really amazing astrologers that are on Evolve Plus, and every Sunday there's a new podcast. It's called the Astrology Plus Podcast, where there's a new astrologer that's interviewed for the weather. So every week you get the cosmic weather of what's coming up, so you know how to dress, meaning attitude and mentally. So
cosmic weather. Bro, your attitude is not going to change how the quote unquote weather is going to be. And if you're not talking about the physical weather where you got to put on a rain poncho every once in a while, then absolutely no one cares, because that doesn't exist.
Every week, Astrology Plus Podcast. And a lot of people go like, oh, I like her. I like Celeste Brooks. Oh, I like this person. I want a reading with the Tower Lady. Like, I want a reading with this person, because they're listening to them week after week, or they're watching their lives. There are probably like 20 lives a month that happen on Evolve Plus, just like this, where people are getting pulled up and they can.
I did not need that image in my head, Miss Independence. I did not need that image, but I wouldn't be surprised to
answer their questions. It's a pretty amazing community. So again, if you guys are in TikTok, you see this up here. It says evolveplus.tv. Use that code New Moon. It's going to give you the opportunity for getting the entire year for $99, which is normally like.
Again, he's doing this promo code of $99, sir. $99 is not a discount. That is dude. That's literally. I paid $100 for my freaking AT&T at $40 a month, and that was just to get 2 months worth of internet. 2 months worth of internet. So he's basically trying to portray 2 months worth of internet as, oh yeah, it's just $99, guys. You know, it's just $99. It can't be that much. Fuck you. That shit gets me 2 months worth of internet. I ain't giving it to you.
$249. And then if you're on YouTube, you guys can do the same thing. I just can't put it up. I don't know how yet. If I can put it up here anywhere on on YouTube. So maybe in the comments you can see it there, or I think I put it in the title somewhere. Okay, so Mimi said, I had a psychic tell me that people on the other side aren't as concerned with material items or things that upset us here on Earth. Example, petty arguments, wills, and greed. Absolutely. That is 100% accurate.
Of course they're not going to care. They're dead. I mean, that's a stupid. Well, first off, that was a statement, not a question. But even so, that doesn't validate John, and that has no relevance to anything. Like, anybody could have told you that, regardless if you believe there's an afterlife or not. The dead are not going to care about arguments. They're not going to care about, well, practically anything at this point, because they're not alive, and so they can't do shit. So that's the type of gullible people that wind up subscribing to him.
They do not care about those energies in any capacity.
Exactly, Rosetta. It just goes back to see that actually answers your question. How do people believe in this shit? Well, that's the type of people. Hey, Jay Williams. Hey, man. Good to see you. But see, that's the type of people, Rosetta. That's the type of people that believe in this hogwash.
Palliative care. If medically sedated, do our loved ones know we don't want to make the decision to stop treatment and we've done everything we can? That is probably one of the most intense questions that gets answered in readings all the time, where people will say, people in spirit will come through saying, thank them for doing what they did. And that usually means making decisions, helping them cross, sometimes leaving the room so that they can actually make a peaceful transition without you being there. And for anybody who was not able to be at bedside when someone passes, please understand you weren't supposed to be there. That might sound harsh, but please know.
What? Peaceful transition? How do you know that? That's pure speculation. If someone's on their dying bed and they're unconscious and they're going through their final moments, there is no way in hell anyone's going to know what they'd want you to do, whether it's to stay or leave. And this dude's not even there. I mean, he's one dude. He can't be in where everybody's relative is dying in, so he can't really know the situation to know if they're supposed to be there or not. That's wow. Scammed and manipulating asshole.
No, you weren't supposed to be there. They couldn't pass if you were there. And this is where I want to make sure people know that nobody passes alone. There's always somebody that's with us. So if you have someone that was technically in the physical world by themselves making their transition, they weren't. There are always energies, past loved ones, friends, and pets that come for us to help our transition and to be there for us.
You're talking about hallucinations, sir. It's well documented that when you're in your dying phase, it's common for people to hallucinate. That's not energy. That's not supernatural. That's the brain dying and then giving giving itself pleasant images to make the transition of dying easier. That is an easily explained science.
For us when we transition. Tracy says, another medium says the only way to read a person is face-to-face or on WhatsApp. Maybe for that medium, but that's inaccurate because I've done readings legitimately over like comments. I've read somebody only in comments. I've read somebody in an email.
Okay, well now we've just caught him on another lie because he literally said that he didn't feel the spirits or the spiritual energy on the internet. Now he's saying that he's read people online. Earlier he said that he didn't feel any spiritual spirits on the internet or in the comment section. Now he's saying he's read entire comments and he's read them spiritually. So clearly this is another lie from the great John Edward.
Legitimately did an entire reading for somebody with no feedback from them in an email. It was for a friend, but I still did it accurately. And for years I've been doing radio show readings. So
very much a con artist, Sassy, very much.
A person could be in their house calling into a radio station, they patch me in, and that's how it happens. So maybe for that medium, it happens like that, but it's really important. Like you'll always hear me say, in my experience, I am not the judge and jury when it comes to mediumship. People have different, ways of doing things. It's like if you're Italian, what you call the red stuff on Sunday, where the pasta gets, covered with, some people call it sauce, some people call it sugo, some people call it gravy.
Is he literally comparing the supernatural with hot sauce?
Whatever you call it, and not only that, different ways that people make it. Literally, I crack up all the time when people show their Sunday sauce, Sunday gravy recipes. I am like, to the comments, because
yeah, it does look like it. You can see the vines hanging off of it. You actually can. You can see the vines just drooping right there. That's a good catch, Williams.
I want to read everybody correcting everybody. Why are you doing it like that? How come you're doing it like that? There's too much oil in that. There's too much seasoning. How come you didn't put onions? Why did I crack up? Because energetically, people are peopling.
If I was encountering someone talking about a supernatural event and they're comparing it to seasoning sauce, I'd laugh too. The demonic red rooster bottle, exactly.
Or tonight, meeple or meepling. You had to be here earlier. You'll get the reference. But I just think that energetically, you can only kind of talk about your experiences. And I don't think anybody should be like judge and jury on that, because that means you're not still a student of the process. And I think it's important for us to be able to always learn and go, huh, I never knew I could do that.
What are we learning, sir? You seem to be the expert in all of it. You even said word of mouth is the guide to people's work. That's literally what you said.
Which is another reason why I wouldn't want Crossing Over to be back on in reruns.
Oh man, that comment is funny. Charon 5892 said a good psychic is expensive.
Because I'm positive there are things that experience-wise have happened over the last 25 years that I've maybe shifted my philosophy on. So Ben Dragonist 22 is asking if I've ever had psychics that I've known come through. So yes, I had a visit, oddly enough, from Sylvia Brown. You just asked about Sylvia. I had a visit from Sylvia at JFK on a bus going from the plane that I just landed on to the terminal. It was like she dropped in. I was like, oh. And that was
okay. How are we supposed to ask her? Like, aren't they supposed to be dead people?
I was like, do I need to like reach out to your family? Because I had known one of her sons. I was like, do I need to reach out? And it was just a kind of like a hello. I had that happen. And I have a really good.
No one can verify that though. That's all word of mouth, as you would say. And we shouldn't trust word of mouth.
Colleague, her name is Shelly Peck, and she drops in when I'm doing events. I will literally feel her sometimes coming up on stage next to me. And when I feel that, it always means someone just passed, because she was accurate beyond words. And she had a really difficult time when people just passed. So this was fun, guys. Thank you for being here. I am going to leave here, and I'm going to hop over to evolveplus.tv. So on TikTok, you guys are seeing this. Come join me with the code New Moon.
And a promo code to follow him to a paid subscription channel that he's going to go to, because he's tired of giving everyone free material on his bullshit.
And then on YouTube, I hope this was cool. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I am going to say that when I'm done doing my lives on Evolve, I do something, and I'm going to do it here as well. I think it's up to us to raise the vibration in the world. A lot of people ask questions about the world and positivity. I think it's up to us for us to kind of raise the vibration in our world, because one by one we can change and make an effect. So I always tell people to communicate, appreciate, and validate the people in your life, so someone like myself doesn't have to do it for you. I continue.
Why are you speaking as if you're trying to get a promo code in there? That's usually what happens. They say, I want you to do promo code. That's literally how he's talking.
You to say that, but I am going to ask you to blow up this comment section with lots of hearts, symbolically representing that
right,
we are in charge of what's happening in the world. Like the energy and the positivity, that's up to us to raise our voice. Use those hearts, show that. Don't lose hope, stay positive, and hopefully I will see you guys over at evolveplus.tv. And for the Evolve members that were here, guys, thank you so much for always being so supportive. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all your money is what he's saying. Now, guys, even though that video had ended, I do want to show you. I do want to give you guys an AI treat, which is I'm going to show you exactly how to generate your own books using Gemini and putting them in PDF style. Which there's different types of files you can put them into, but it will literally create your own books. Do you guys want to come? Do you guys want to stick around to see that? Williams anti-collection. I'll keep a folder called vacation pics. That's evil, Williams. That's evil. I love it. Okay, guys. So this is what I'll do. I'm gonna go. I do everything. I don't have to worry about my identity being exposed as I do this, because I do I switched over accounts so that when I do my Gemini work, I'm using my Gemini. I'm using my Gemini whenever I'm doing this. So just give me a second to set it up. I'm going to show you guys exactly how you do it. Now, you guys will probably remember that that a couple months ago when I was doing this, I showed you the way to create a PDF file. You know, a document first say, I want to create a document, and then at the end of it, say PDF file. Well, in this one, you do something a little bit different, and I'll show you. So instead, we're going to say create a PDF book. And the book can be literally about anything. Imagine being able to talk about concepts. Okay. And thanks for, yep, I'm enjoying my day and everything, you know. And thanks for coming by, Williams. I'm always happy when you're around, man. You make the lives lit. So anyways, as I'm saying, first you say create a PDF book, and you want to put a period there. And then you say what the book is going to be about. And the beautiful thing about this, guys, is you'll be able to literally create any type of book out there, whether it's non-fictional, fictional, what have you. It could be a fanfic. It doesn't matter. And this is how professional will look. The PDF book, the book should warn readers why they should not trust a psychic medium at face value that explain the pseudoscience that they use to deceive you. And you could also, and what was the other thing I was going to add? And to deceive you. And there was another thing I was gonna put in there. Deceive you, and because we can put any subject we want, anything that we want. Williams. So and why, you know, there is no evidence that any human can speak to the dead. Oh, and just for added safety, one sec, guys, I had to stop it. Do not list my name or identity as the author, just to make sure that doesn't happen by accident. Gotta make sure I'm anonymous. As I said, I am not going to let anybody know who I am in real life. I'm John Q. Public. And as you can see, it's creating the outline. I will warn you guys ahead of time that unfortunately, because it's literally creating an entire book, and it's structuring in that way, it does take a little bit of time. And there's also the chance that there could be a little bit of an error when it creates them, because sometimes, you know, with those giant letters that they usually see in former books, the AI will create that as well. But unfortunately, your name and identity has been completely omitted from the document. Good. So here you go. Beyond the Veil, a skeptic's guide to, and yeah, that's a little bit, I don't like that placement, and I could get that changed later on. But basically, Beyond the Veil, it came up with the identity. Here's the start. Introduction, Extraordinary Claims by Carl Slogan. Here's the introduction, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. You see the conclusion. And the best part of all, is we can add more to it. So even though that was the great outline, let's see, how many chapters did it do? I think it did up to 3 chapters. Yes, it did 3 chapters. Now I can say add chapter 4 or and argue that, because let me see what chapter 3 shows. Void of evidence, beyond proof in science, logic, burden, explaining that, chapter 4, human beings that are physical cannot interact in another world where physics do not apply. And so we add that chapter 4, and I told it what to argue about in chapter 4. Exactly. And so this is what it's going to do. It's now going to redirect the whole thing, but it's going to add a chapter 4. And it's doing a multimodal thing, guys. So it's not just doing it because I told it to. It's actually researching the evidence outside in the real internet, while it's also adding the chapters and coding it in. And therefore, as it's writing the chapter based on the research, I just had it go through, because it has to research why that would seemingly be the case, because it wouldn't agree. Okay, that's kind of weird. I've never seen it do it like this before, but we should see it in chapter 4 now. See it added an 8th page. So here's chapter 4. The physics of the afterlife, a fundamental impossibility. Moving beyond the psychic surge, we must also confront the logical and scientific hurdle, the physical maniacs of mediumship. If we assume for a moment that a spirit world exists entirely outside of the physical, we run into an immeasurable problem of interaction. Boundary of physics. Human beings are physical entities, thoughts, etc., etc. By definition, a spiritual world is often described as non-physical, a realm where gravity, electromagnetism, and the laws of physics do not apply. If spirits are non-physical, they have no mass, no energy, and do not occupy any space. And it even gives you a quote here. All of that is just added to you because you told it to argue why there wouldn't be any possibility. So yeah, guys. Right. And so yeah, guys, that is how you would create your own very own PDF book. Now, a good reason why I'm okay, Miss Independent, that's fine. So the reason why I'm showing you guys that is because earlier he said, well, thanks. And thanks, Rosetta. And I'm glad to show people this, because there's a lot of technologies the spirits want their cut, right? Yeah. They want their cut in ghost dollars, and that's hard to come by considering I can't touch them. But anyway, so this guy, there's 2 reasons I'm showing it to you. One, that dude literally said, John literally said, hey, to try and give this illusion of I know what I'm talking about. Who wrote a book? Well, guess what? I just wrote an entire book through a prompt, and it shows exactly why you can't believe in this shit. So, it's 2026, my guy. You got to get with the times. Writing a book is not an impossible or, as an impressive feat as it once was, as I just demonstrated. The second reason is, well, in addition to showing how much he's not an expert in how modern technology has progressed, I also want to show you guys, because we live in a world with such advanced technology, but not a whole lot of people bother to research or learn to find out what the technology is available. And that really puts a lot of people back. I mean, there's so much we can do. Endless literature, creating our own applications for our own purposes, bypassing language barriers, and people just aren't using it, primarily because they don't know it exists. And why don't they know it exists? Because they don't understand. They just see the flashy AI logos, and they see the flashy AI ads, and they think, I don't need that. Oh, it's not that cool. It's just a fad. It'll go away. And it's like, no, guys, it's not a fad. This stuff, if you actually bother to research into it, to experiment with it, become a power user, will dramatically improve your life, dramatically make anything that's possible. And heck, I'll even show you how we can create a fictional book. Watch this. Let's create a different PDF book. This book is to be a Spider-Man fanfic. Have the book plot center on, let's say, Spider-Man getting a criminal record for all the city's damages and learning how to navigate life on the other side of the law. And this is just for jokes. Look, it's building the concept as we're talking. It's now going to create this entirely new fanfic book that is just for. This has nothing to do with academia or knowing something. This is just completely fictional that you can do for having fun. Think of any show you watched, any books you actually liked in real life, and imagine you creating that type of concept in that narrative just for your own entertainment. And also a little bit for the academic side, like Rosetta, you're a registered nurse, right? Imagine if you wanted to create an entire PDF book based on the experiences you've had as a nurse. You would be able to create your own book, and you'd be able to give a perspective that nobody else in the world has, and therefore create concepts within a single book. Through this process, you would be able to create a book that no one ever made before, containing narratives no one ever thought of before, and having concepts to make readers explore, and no one would ever have thought about it if you hadn't made it. There's a lot in the human brain that if you really access and think of and put onto and use the technology with AI to put onto paper, you could bring out a lot of ideas that no one ever even thought of before. So just keep that in mind. And see, here we go. And it's fan fiction, so I don't own Spider-Man. Don't come after me, Marvel Universe. This is just fan fiction. And see, this is what I mean about sometimes the big letters get in the way because they screwed up the T. And there's actually a way to fix this. Actually. So you just basically say, please fix the giant letters. They are not in the right places. It's finding its solutions. It's implementing the fix because it now knows what the problem is. Gonna take a little bit longer, and it's done. I likes to delay it for whatever reason. And see, the letters are fixed. Yeah, still look a little bit wonky in my opinion, but they're still fixed. And there you go. Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. And again, just to make sure I'm not sued for copyright. That was just a fanfic. I don't own Spider-Man, so Marvel, please don't come after me. Well, we've been streaming for about 2 hours now. You guys have all been a wonderful audience. I thank you guys for stopping by. I'm glad you all had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again in the next time. So have a wonderful night. Good luck, and stay safe out there.